This is a public announcement. Naked flames are prohibited in the vicinity of Cubicle 3. You all know what happened last time. Dave's eyebrows still haven't grown back. This is a passenger announcement. The 10:30 shuttle to Eden has developed a fault. A replacement shuttle will now depart from landing pad 2. Would the pilot of the Red Planet Taxi Service ship, registration Red 4, please remove your hauler from the medium pad.
Hutton Orbital. No, it's supposed to look like that.
This is a public announcement. You are cordially invited to join us in a rousing rendition of Kumbaya. 2, 3, 4. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya.
As the latest toings and froings from the galaxy arrive at the studio by teletype, one of the news hounds at Hutton browses through them, looking for the juiciest ones to include in this week's headlines. War, famine, civil war, boom, bust, People's Front of Marlinia, Marlinist People's Front, Federation, affairs, having your Aegis probed, Mint Imperials. Oh, this just won't do. As he opens up Galweb and Galwit, his eyes start to skim over the other stories in the galaxy. That's more like it! As he scribbles a few words, the rest of the team assemble in the studio, and, completing his work, he sits back with a smile. It just wouldn't be Hutton Orbital News without a load of balls now, would it? And one good thing too is
our mics are probably live.
Oh, sorry I'm late. I just popped into the kitchen for a quickie.
I beg your pardon?
Lorraine. Just what I needed before the radio show.
I think that's quiche.
And bacon.
Pardon?
Who cares what it's made of? Where's my bit?
I've got something here in my pockets you can have if you're hungry.
Guys, and by guys I mean non-gender specific group of people.
What? Norman's just helping me to some snacks.
The show?
There's a show?
Yes, now. Places, everyone. There are headlines to read.
Ooh.
You're never too young to be a Hutton trucker.
Smart Alec is a burr turner.
Sally's fourth, but you won't be in the pink.
What goes around is orange.
The galaxy's largest Tower of Hanoi experiment concludes.
Monty Python's Flying Biologicals.
It's OMG in BS and EE, so get in there, PDQ.
Get your motor running and head out on the Newton Highway.
Canon Research have received an application from what may be the youngest scientist in the galaxy. Commander Rocket Knight 14 has, in his own time, constructed an entirely accurate scale model of Hutton Orbital, complete with a cubicle 3 that actually flushes, which, let's face it, it's more than the full-sized one does. A miniature Studio 5 containing rather flattering representations of the radio crew, which come close to the standard set by Claire Helen's minifigs, but are so small that you need a microscope to see them. And wonder of wonders, a Transformer-style opening panel where a hand-carved anaconda can actually be inserted and removed, if you can solve the fiendish puzzle built into the door. Commander Rocket Knight 14 has a bright future ahead of him. He says that he hopes to progress to larger models in the future, but only if he can get his daddy to lift him up to reach the high bits.
That'll be me then, won't it? You may
That
recall
will be,
a
Harry.
couple of weeks. It will be, yes. You may recall a couple of weeks ago where we delved into Alec Turner's obsession with balls, Guardian orbs to be precise. Well, he's done it again, or rather, he's got the Burpit crew to do it. They've taken an orb for the spin of its life as they attempted to reproduce the old Earth custom of cheese rolling. Now, cheese rolling, for those of you who were asleep in history classes, was a tradition where an entire cheese was rolled down a steep hill and people would chase it. Yes, we know how silly that sounds, but you can't argue with tradition. Apparently. The origins of the so-called sport are shrouded in mystery. Some historians have speculated that it started as part of a training exercise for fleet-footed messengers named Hermes, after the god with the fluffy slippers, showing the correct way to deliver delicate items by barreling them down a steep slope before slipping the remains in a recycling bin and pushing a sorry you were out card under the door. Others have said that it was an ancient fertility rite, because basically all of these things were. At it like rabbits they were in ancient times. The Burpit crew, in their modern reconstruction, seem to have opted less for the excuse for a fumble in the recently scanned fauna and gone more for the if I stop, I'll fall over pell-mell downhill scramble that caused so many injuries in the past, such as broken limbs, feet that end up pointing the wrong way, and diarrhea and farting caused by lactose-intolerant contestants foolishly trying to eat all the cheese before it reached the bottom. The Burpit crew's use of a Guardian orb is not the first time that an alternative substance has been used instead of the traditional Gloucester cheese. One year a lightweight foam replica was used, but since that was on a low-G planet, when it hit the first bump, it sailed off into space, where presumably it is still travelling. A sentient cheese known as Horace was tried one year, but after seeing the gradient of the hill, declared you'd have to be mad as cheese to attempt it. Spiked cheese has been used, which certainly improved the cheese's trajectory and ground-hugging characteristics, but did result in several competitors being treated for stigmata, and one who grabbed just a little too lightly ended up doing an impression of a Catherine wheel as he twirled around the cheese during its descent. Gnosis avian cheese has never been used in this event for several reasons, most of which are health and safety related, but mostly because it just doesn't roll.
Commander Sally appears to be trying to take Dav's crown as the Terminator of the Elite Dangerous Galaxy. She has challenged the entire human population of the galaxy to a fight. At least that's the conclusion we came to after seeing this latest EDSM achievement, allowing commanders to proudly display the evidence that they've been swatted by Sally. Sally is intent on becoming the galaxy's most competent user of the classic Dirty Hober manoeuvre, but with a pink twist, as she scatters commanders on foot like a 10-pin bowling strike. You might be an innocent pilot going about your semi-lawful business in the galaxy when suddenly your view screen is covered in pink. The alarms sound, your shields just give up in fear, and the only sounds you hear are an almighty clang, followed by eject, 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 as the PWAF Attackmeister gives you your own achievement. Yes, you've been splatted by Sally. Tharg the Mighty has been seen flying away quaking in fear, or rage or excitement at this new challenge. He's very inscrutable, is Tharg. He definitely doesn't want to be patted by Sally. This assertiveness is manifesting itself in many different ways as she takes the pink monster around the galaxy. She'll give you a nudge, anytime, any place, whether it's to get your SRV unstuck or to help you jump off that building and test your jetpack, or just to get yourself out of the toast rack using what she calls the PWAF shoehorn. Available in all good shipyards, Sally says, buy one if you know what's good for you. Some say that she opens tins in the kitchen with a hammer, others that her favourite game is Carmageddon. All we know is that she loves the colour pink, and we wouldn't want to meet her in a dark nebula if she's in a bad mood. Which, of course, she never is, because Sally's just great.
Lave Radio, our sister station. We say sister, it's more like a second cousin that turns up at family events, eats all the chocolate biscuits, then finishes off everyone's drinks before trying to importune your aunt at the end of the evening. Anyway, it has a problem with speed, specifically adders. Those radio pundits have been complaining about the latest offerings from the Pilots Federation, viz. Paint jobs for adders. They have an issue with them being declared as speedway paint jobs, implying that these stripes will make you go faster, as they maintain that orange ships go faster. However, the rest of us know that the orange ships just go round and round and round, like sidewinders. We don't know exactly what Phoenix Defier means when he says, putting racing stripes on an adder is like putting lipstick on a pig, as what he does when visiting the petting zoo is his own concern. Well, his and the animal welfare groups, obviously, but we think some pigs are lovely, especially when placed carefully between two slices of bread and served with ketchup. Ketchup? Who wrote this? HP, I'll have you know, is the official condiment for bacon, and I'll hear no more of it. I expect I probably will. Ketchup could look a bit like lipstick, I suppose. Maybe that's it. But then again, he puts his rabbit in a tutu.
Lakon Spaceways confirmed this week that one of their junior salespersons has completed their longest standing and least thought out publicity stunt. In order to showcase the versatility and endurance of their transporter T-ships, they committed, you'll hear that word a lot in Hutton News, back in 3305 to taking all of their ships out to Beagle Point and onto Isham's Reach in a spectacular show of Lakon quality and performance. Sadly, the you'll hear that word a lot in Hutton News, retirement of Lakon spokesperson Buck Naked has resulted in a bit of staff shortage, and the only person left in the office was Commander Marco 2612, who was on a week's work experience. This meant that all of the ships had to be taken out one at a time for their photo shoots. Never one to shy away from a challenge, Commander Marco set off in a Type 7, outfitted for exploration support in late 3305. After 2 years of travelling back and forth to the edges of the galaxy in the different transporter types, spending countless hours at the helm and many incidents of giving the finger to Colonia pilots, Marco set down in Salome's Reach in the last T-ship, a T6, just 2 years after the stunt began. In an interesting side note, Salome's Reach was first discovered by British explorer Sir Malcolm Titty, who declined the suggestion from his assistant Carruthers to name the planet after himself. And so, Salome's reach it was. Titty World was not to be. When asked for a comment, a bemused Lakon spokesman said, "I forgot all about that. Didn't we email Marco to say it had been cancelled?" His assistant confirmed that the email was still waiting, unsent in an outbox, but promised to send Commander Marco a signed Ladies of Lakon 3306 calendar as compensation, saying, "No problem, he's work experience, we don't even have to pay him." And who wouldn't be happy to receive a calendar full of ruddy-cheeked and sturdy-looking matronly women in boiler suits? There are things that Brenda can do with a torque wrench, a 3/16 socket, and a firm but caring grip that would make your nose bleed. Ooh, very risque.
There are some important questions that a person should address. Questions so fundamental that even journalists know what they are. The 6 W's. Who, what, where, why, when and how. Oh yes, smarty pants, one of those doesn't begin with W nowadays, but it used to, and we don't like to let history stand in the way of oversimplification. Anyway, knowing that these are the questions, and even how they are spelled, is not the important thing. It's knowing which question to ask. A certain Commander Montgomery P. recently, far too late as it turned out, asked the question, where? Regarding the cashing in of much work in the cactus, space loafer and the bacteria, so much bacteria departments. Commander P thought that he'd cashed in his discoveries when selling his planetary discoveries, but alas, had neglected to visit the correct location for his biological data. Universal Cartographics would like to remind pilots that they only care about the where, not the what. For the what department you need Vista Genomics, who of course don't care about where. The when department is the exclusive province of those of your chosen mission giver, unless you're loitering, in which case you want the now department, who specialise in the imperative. As for the who, we haven't got a clue. For how, you'll have to work it out yourself.
Things have been very quiet in Hutton space this week. Perhaps too quiet. Pretty much everywhere is in a boom state and there is an expansion pending. We have 3 systems below 40%. Barnard's Star is recovering from a mid-week infrastructure failure and is dangerously low on 30%. If the other factions could stop their bickering and get their collective acts together, we'd be in trouble. So hop over there and do some good things, and good things will happen. No other factions are in conflict in Barnard's Star locking up influence, so now is a good time to go in there to improve matters. Ross 671 has dropped further to 32% and needs immediate attention. Same drill. The pending outbreak in Epsilon Eridani became a thing, and a week later it's still a thing, leaving EE on only 35%. So chuckers, there are plenty of large pads available. Get in there and deliver doses of meds to the population. Get them jabbed up so they'll think there's a galactic acupuncture convention in town. At the top end of the Systems League, we have just 5 systems above 60%, with one LP 532-10 on 76%. Why is it always that one? Has someone sent the economy booming again? Did somebody put more than 4 credits into the vending machine and the maintenance hangar again? When will you lot ever learn? Never spend anything there. It'll go into overdrive and economic expansion quicker than you can say quantitative easing. Happily, we lost another war. It was a close shave at 4-3, but it was a war we wanted to lose, so we lost it. If you recall, last week, Hutton had inadvertently expanded into the LP 410-93 system, so we made our apologies to Contrail, dutifully lost the war, and backed sheepishly towards the door mumbling apologies. What a dump anyway. Meanwhile, in Colonia, Grand Admiral Hankey asked that truckers work for Hot Colin Pythias, where apparently Karash is already grafting away on behalf of Hot Col and work to win the election in Tyr against Jacques. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, ship meds into Epsilon Eridani to relieve the outbreak, and once that's lifted, boost Hutton influence in Barnard Star and Ross 671. If you want to shoot something, how about some nice Odyssey videos?
Time once again to use those lovely phrases. Heads up and shout out, as we highlight events organised by members of the Elite Dangerous community. If any of these sound like your cup of tea or cup of coffee for the night shift, and me, then links for all these events will be posted into the chat for those of you watching live, but will also be in the description of your YouTube upload, so there's no excuse for you not to join in. Firstly, we have a lovely postcard written from a deck chair aboard the Fleet Carrier Consu as it glides along the 124 waypoints of the Cannon Challenge. It's Comfy Cannon Cruise News, sent by Commander Mephisto.
Comfy Cannon Cruise ain't reached waypoint 61 yet. Conso's still burning fuel. At least mine became less tedious after Command J-Man 14 found overlapping tritium hotspots. Take a few more days to get the last few thousand tons.
Mission Liaison Commander Nicole Dyson has sent a message from Narook Platoon Explores the Land Down Under expedition, out in the southeastern corner of the galaxy, where they must currently be feeling rather lonely.
On our fourth waypoint, we reached another void in the galaxy, the Poseidal Wall. This place is notable for being an irregular absence of stars. More fascinating pictures are taken and more information is shared on our Discord. The expedition is starting to come back to the bubble.
Now on to news of some upcoming events. Commander Richard Fluanis M has written to us with details of the daintily entitled SWS High G Summer Slamdown 3307 expedition. He says,
from one of the creators of Enthusiastic Christmas Colonia Trip comes this abomination. Welcome to the first long-range, 66,000 light-year, high-gravity body landing tour, compatible with both Odyssey and Horizons. Console players welcome. Daily destinations and challenges. You might also find yourself competing for $200 worth of Steam, Xbox, PS rewards using our Gravity Bingo card system just by participating and checking out the expedition. Jump aboard the SWS Clown Hospital and any of our other authorized carriers currently orbiting Algarab A7 and visit 33 points of interest with 1 or 2 points of interest every day. Fair warning, you might be sent to the hospital. Die. Plenty of times while participating in the expedition. We will stumble upon extraordinary places to land, such as the Mighty, the Nithobreaker, and the Mass Hole, and other cute, safe and sensible high-gravity destinations in the expedition during the trip. For more information, please consult our travel guide and contest conditions on our Discord server. For participating, you must sign up on our expedition page in EDSM using our Google form. We are set to release after our expedition mass launch on Sunday, August the 15th.
Now that message contained 3 things I never wanted to hear in the same sentence. Mighty, Nithobreaker, and Mass Hole. FGS Glorious Walls Surveys the Monkey Head Nebula is the title of our next new expedition, and Commander Wayne Warlock, now there's the name to conjure with, wants to tell us all about it.
Greetings, believers! The next adventure in our Odyssey is a survey of the Monkey Head Nebula and its neighbouring stellar bodies. Board Fleet Carrier FGS Glorious Waltz for a week-long adventure to mine, explore and make landfall and enjoy the flatness of the galaxy in and around the monkey head, jellyfish, crab, and Rosetta Nebulae. We will be departing from the Flat Galaxy Society's home of HR 2926 at 0000 UTC on 20th August and returning on 30th August.
Last but by no means least in our list of new expeditions comes the Wild Wild West. Quite appropriate for this place given all the cowboys. Which starts from Colonia on the 28th of August, and Commander Airman Dan has sent this rousing call to action.
Yeehaw! Somewhere over the horizon in the deep of the black, far beyond Icarus's Folly and round the Devil's Dance floor and through the great plume of Agasauria, answers to questions that shouldn't be asked wail longingly into the darkness. We've looked, but we haven't seen. We've heard, but not listened. Where the sea of stars itself parts, and man alone has stood. Further he goes with each leap, faster than light, once more unto the breach. Into this uncharted territory, this undiscovered country, this untamed expanse we set sail. With the might of our brilliance and the magic of our unyielding will, we cast aside the limitations of relativity and heave our mighty megaliths of metal and machinery to the stars, knowing not what we'll find, or even, to be fair, what it is we seek. The Wild Wild West has spoken our name, and we've answered the call. Our journey is long and treacherous. You must travel to the farthest reaches of civilization just to reach our beginning. Wonder abounds, with danger its ever-present companion. Our guides have traveled this path before, but we've got no stellar Sherpa. You must chart your own course, and what you may find, or what may find you, is, as of yet, unknown. This is the last great beyond. Stake your claim, if fate does not claim you first. The choice to embark is yours alone. What happens after that, only the void can decide. The Wild Wild West awaits.
If you want to join up, then follow the link and note that there will be 2 ferries from Lave starting on the 21st. And our final piece is from Commander Hunter, who sent this message about the Wholesales event from last weekend, which we featured in this spot. Now, you lot shush, I'm reading this one myself. Hello everyone, the Wholesales event last weekend was a huge success. The turnout was huge, lots of pilots got to have a little taste rescuing other ships. The Wholesales had 6 times as many training requests than usual afterwards. Thank you all for showing such interest in the event, and because it was a success we will repeat the event in the future. You'll hear about it here on this radio station and other social media platforms. Fly safe or help someone who didn't. 07. And as we cross the finishing line of that marathon list of events, remember to let us know if you want us to include your event in a future show, and the simplest way is by emailing itookpart@huttonorbital.com.
And we're back in the studio. Thank you very much, everybody. Wow, that was a monster, Flossy.
It was, wasn't it?
That was a beast of a community update. There was this, and there was that, and there was more stuff of the other, and crikey.
I don't think I've got time for that when they're on an expedition, sorry.
Oh,
That way you like exploration, is it, Flossy? Right, okay.
It's to get away from everybody else.
Of course.
Speaking of which, I would like to apologise on behalf of Hutton News for some of the accents and voices which were used in the previous news article. I would particularly like to apologise to our night shift listeners for Rudolph Hucker's supposed American accent.
I have no
there.
idea. He'd been at the sarsaparilla or something. I have no idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please dial 1-800 screaming into a pillow, and someone will be around to collect you shortly.
You know what? I don't care what anyone says. You know how difficult it is for me to avoid enunciation.
Oh, it was. Yeah, that was very.
Just don't go near the convent.
Oh, badum tush.
Yes.
So, yeah, we have a full studio this evening. We have Commander Harry Ballsack, also known as Palantir. Good evening.
Good evening. And I'm sorry I was a little late getting into my news item there. It's because I'd realised that just as we were starting there, that you'd asked someone to set up the headlines, and that person has not responded. And then I realised they hadn't seen it. So I'm frantically typing headlines into the headline machine. And I think,
seamless.
oh, poo, it's my go. Yes. Well, at least I know what the headline is.
And you got the right one
You're
as well.
a wizard, Harry.
Yes.
Anyway, and I understand that many congratulations are due to you and the lovely Mrs. Palantir.
Yes, 44 years, thank you. But nowhere near as long as somebody else around here.
No.
47 for another member of the crew.
Absolutely.
No, it isn't me.
But I was going to get to that when you. So we'll do both. Both congratulations is because obviously recently there are 4 of you celebrating. Being stuck with each other.
Not
all together.
It's not that kind of a party.
It's not the keys. It's not the keys in the Hutton mug job.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I tried to put the keys in one of Nocty's miniature mugs, but I couldn't get them in there. That was the problem.
You keep hoping to draw a wrong way out, and it never happens, does it?
So I'm just thinking. I would have been 6 when Sean get married. When Sean and Chris get married, and I would have been 3 when Helen and Robbie get married.
And there are other reasons to hate you.
And I am really old now.
I wasn't born.
Yeah.
I think
you don't feel old now.
No, I wasn't either on both of them. No. I just look old. And we also have a birthday celebration as well. I might as well do this congratulations, isn't it, before talking to everybody else. We do have a big happy birthday this week to Commander Jester D, who turned 21 again. He says,
is that him 22 now?
21 twice or
21 again, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But Commander Jester D says another successful orbit around the star completed on what has become known as the Plague Planet. Yes, but anyway, many happy returns, Jester D. So we also have in the studio, we have Aemilia.
Hello.
And how's the writing going, and how are you? And
I'm not a writer, so
sorry,
I don't know how that's going.
How's the content creation then, I should say?
Yes, I'm currently working on 6 books.
So if you're not writing, I mean,
I'm a
what's the
machine.
word? You're creating. You're not writing, but you are inventing. What would we say instead of writing?
I do graphic design and layout, so I make everything look pretty. Someone
you're the
writes
one
it.
with the sellotape and the sticky glue and the glitter.
Yes, but I also do things like I design the art to go in the book, and
so beautifying instead of writing would be the right word.
Oh, and crayons as well then.
Yes. Yeah, crayons. Got to have those crayons. Massive collection of
crayons. You are laying
crayons.
out and designing in a graphical style.
Yes. do not stick the crayons up your nose. That's never going to end well. Well, I'm glad that's going well. So you're beautifying some books and
do the yellow one. They smell like lemon.
I mean, I do some of I do the designs as well, because you have to be able to imagine what something looks like from less than a paragraph of text.
Yes.
And then you have to visualize that and put it into art. So.
A bit like we do with the news. We get sort of 2 words on a tweet and we turn it into a whole article about Monty P. Yes.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, we're Aemilia. You're off on another expedition to look at some really expensive and dangerous stuff later.
Yes, I am.
Which we're looking forward to.
And it is mind-boggling tech this week.
It is. I mean, you might have to have your set square and your ruler out and try and it
prepare
boggles
to
the
have
mind.
your mind boggled.
Yes, thoroughly boggled. We also have the Apple Bogey Officer.
Hello.
Hello. Now, the sports. There was some shenanigans this week where somebody was going, "Oh no, they're wrong," but you went, "Aha!" But they're right. But then they were wrong. I don't know. Is that all resolved?
It all happened before I realised there was an issue.
Oh right.
It flared up and was resolved before I knew anything had gone wrong. And Sean said to me, "That thing's fixed now," and I went, "Okay, thanks."
Well, you weren't looking where I was telling you that there was a problem. So
yes,
exactly.
I was unaware of it until it had been resolved.
So the ticker tape machine was right, is what we were saying.
Well, the ticket, I mean, it's just had an overhaul. It's been revarnished. They put new valves in it and everything. So,
and it's been re-inked.
Yes. The man came out and laid new ink down on the pad.
Yep, with his roller.
Yes.
Yeah.
With his roller, yes. They made sure all the letters in the printing set are all from the same font this time and all the same size.
Are you still using the one that you have to sort of hand pump with your foot to get it to feed the ticker tape out? I mean, we
we got a steam one now, steam powered one. Shovel some coal in the back, half a hundredweight of nutty slack, and you're sorted.
Right. Well, you've done a very good job of masking the chuff, chuff, chuff noise as it works, I have to say.
That's just Sean doing the shoveling.
There's all sorts of stuff I shovel.
Yes. All sorts of chuffing going on as well, Sean.
We had noticed.
Yes. We also have a Commander Chicks joining us again this evening.
Good evening.
Are you out exploring at the moment, Commander Chicks, or what are you up to?
I'm weed bothering.
Oh, you're weed bothering. So, but you haven't made the same mistake as the Montgomery of Python and tried to sell your biological data to Universal Cartographics, have you?
No. I've turned a pretty penny with what's it called, Vista Genomics, and the nice lady that works there. So yeah, I've got another load.
It's her name Penny.
I've got another load I'm about to turn round and come back with. So.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah,
yes. So and it's quite lucrative, and also you've been ranking yourself silly at the same time, I understand.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I'm hoping it's not that lucrative, to be honest. It's I've been at it for 3 months and made about 500 million. So it's not that lucrative.
So you've progressed
mining.
You progressed from probably would kill that spider plant you were given up to can just about keep a tomato plant alive in terms of rank.
Yeah, I think I'll probably be elite exobiologist when I get back.
Can still grow a culture in the bottom of a Hutton mug by not washing it for a month.
That's done that. Been there, done that. Got the t-shirts.
Right.
Mug.
For the mug in the mug with some bacteria. Yep.
Mm.
And of course we have Flossy.
Hello.
And how are you, Flossy? Have you been fuel ratting recently? You've been CGing? What have you been up to?
Not a lot, really. The CG's just not for me at the moment. And I've got another, much of the same this week.
Oh, so pew with or against the Marlinists, or against both the Marlinists, or... there's definitely a bit of the big Indians and little Indians going on here with the Marlinists.
The same names keep cropping up, yeah. Yeah. But no, I've not really been in the game much this week.
Oh, I did try. Chilling.
I did try going back to WoW. I couldn't get away with that. Of course, Tuesday night we spent a lot of time wandering around the town trying to find somewhere to eat.
Right.
Because it didn't book anywhere. And everywhere was full. Or if they weren't full...
Oh, you see, we're out of outbreak now.
Because of COVID, there were restrictions on numbers, and... so there wouldn't... Everywhere we went...
You didn't yell, but it's my wedding anniversary.
I did at one place.
I don't care if I have to lick it off the pavement outside the front. I want some dinner.
See, if you all live on a planet called the Plague Planet, these things will happen, you know.
Yes.
Could have been Titty World, but no, you wouldn't have any of it.
No. So we ended up, went to a local supermarket and bought one of their special meals, a Japanese meal, and took it home and heated it up and had that.
I think in younger circles that's known as Netflix and chill. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Isn't it? Yes. Well, anyway, what it sounds like, or at least you had a nice bite to eat, and you didn't have to, do this to any of the restaurants, for not feeding you properly.
Well, I was tempted, but no, I didn't.
And you probably got a lot more food for your pennies as well. You probably
I ate far too much. I didn't eat anything else the rest of the evening because I was
if you can't
not even
indulge
my usual
yourself,
chocolate.
Well, no, I saved you from that particular fate.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
Yes, and actually, talking of that one, we do need to give a little shout out to a commander from Galtwit, Commander Palantir. Did you spot my little note about the commander who needed a bit of a thumbs up over on Galtwit?
I did, but I have not put it together yet.
You haven't? Okay.
Yeah, no. In fact, I guess. Well, yes, it's. Of course, I know it is because I was talking to him in Facebook, wasn't I?
Yeah, you potentially were about the Hutton Helper, because of course we do have a commander. Well, last week who decided to go and do the Hutton Run, and forgot one really important piece of equipment.
The Hutton Helper.
The Hutton Helper.
Because he was under the mistaken impression that it was only for people with PCs. He was not aware that it works perfectly well for people on consoles.
Yes. So obviously we disabused him of this notion and did say, well, you do know that you can run the Hutton Helper even if you're on a console. At which point,
this madman?
He did. Well, we'll mention it in a second. He did the only sensible thing anybody could do, having found that piece of information out.
Yep. He turned round and said, "Right, and now I got the Hutton Helper. I'm going to do this again."
Yay!
And
So
what happened to the poor bloke when he'd said that and told people he was going to do it?
He got a mouthful from everyone else. Well, everybody who doesn't know all about Hutton, about what a muppet, that kind of thing. And there was an awful lot of sort of negativity about why have you wasted your time doing this? I can make millions. I can make billions in a 45-minute trade run by doing this, that, and the other. And yes, the poor commander got a mouthful. Which is
that's so bad.
Which is
which is not on. However,
from the ignorant and ill-informed,
Commander Dirty Irish Guy actually managed to give a perfectly good response to this,
and in good term and the right tone. As well.
The right tone is did it because it was
not
there
not
basically.
Using short words. Yes.
There was no Anglo-Saxon language included in there. There was nothing mean or stinky or that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure you can swear in Gaelic.
Well, there might have been, but it was all Dutch to me.
Yeah.
So
Dutch,
or double Dutch, or going Dutch, or Dutch
but
oven.
If you go double Dutch, does that mean you share the bill amongst 4 people?
No, it means you get 2 duvets pulled over your head when someone farts.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we say to Commander Dirty Irish Guy, a bit of an 07 and for the mug on doing it because it was there. Here we go. The actual answer was. Let's have a look. Because I'm totally a glutton for punishment. That said, I've got to make it again using the Hutton Helper, so it'll officially record my time. Yes, I can run mining missions for credits, and I've done them in 15 to 20 minutes. Nope, no credits. Just to say I did it. Lol.
Yeah, that's a spirit.
Good answer.
Yeah, well done.
That's proper Hutton spirit, that one is, and in the face of a load of verbal from the community as well. But hey, that's proper trucking. That is.
It is.
And I think do we know whether Commander Dirty Irish Guy has a Hutton decal yet?
I can If you,
I'm seeing a picture. I'm seeing a picture of their asp at the moment, and there definitely isn't.
Spoilers, Mr. Pearson.
What?
Spoilers, Mr.
There are
Pearson.
spoilers on that asp, yes.
You know,
No.
if
You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
If you give him a decal, you might want to broadcast at the same place that people have been giving him all the crap, just to let them know.
Yeah, we might find that. In which case,
Rub it in.
We'll find out, because obviously, if said individual might have earned one legitimately by other means, then we're going to have to come up with something else, aren't we? Which is just yeah, that's all my fault. That's a patch then. I might have to do that. So yes, well done to Commander Dirty Irish Guy on that one. Plus, stay tuned if you are Dirty Irish Guy, because you might get name dropped later, and no more spoilers are allowed before the apology officer hits me with something really, really, really heavy. Yes. What else have we got from this week?
Mr. Jester.
Well, we've done Jester, as it were.
Yeah, did we do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Showed you how much
Just when
attention
you were
I
out
was
of the
paying.
room. Yes. Yep. Well, we sang Happy Birthday and everything, and you blew out the candles.
Oh, right. Okay.
Just
You know, I'm
do that
getting old.
automatically these days, don't you? Yeah. No,
I'm getting old. My memory's fading.
Shit, come here and have a smack. No. Kate, we've got some stuff coming up. There was the Frontier live stream. Who watched that? Hands up. No, up in the air.
No, not seen it yet.
I'll put both up. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
very
there was
comfortable.
well, there was stuff they put up. Yes.
There was.
There was some voting. There was one of those poll things, wasn't there?
There was the
Yes.
return of Super Cruise News after it took a week off, because now it is bi-weekly. So episode 44. There was something. It was Zach and Bruce hosting, the usual Tuesday team. There was some mention of things that were coming up in update 7. But for me, the thing they showed, which was the most interesting, was an issue tracker, an issue report tracker that is going to be issued every 2 weeks. They said maybe more often if more things get resolved, and it shows the top 20 issues as voted for by the community. So it gives you the status and when they plan to fix it, or they're not going to fix it, and when it might hit the game. So I quickly screenshot this issue tracker. So that I was surprised actually, because the top issue, which was actually put into update 6, was problems with light and illumination, at 813 votes, and issue 20 only had 82. So I assume once things are put into the game, those votes get freed up again. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
we don't know how the magic voting system works, but yeah, I'm assuming that when they're confirmed and then voted for and then marked as fixed,
yeah.
you get your vote back.
So it's very good, because looking at the 20, I'm just counting now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are only 7 of those, which has TBC. Most of the rest of them are in update 7 or slated at some point in 2023.
And there are a couple with no further news on this one, because they're highly voted but not really particularly.
Yeah.
This is the problem with allowing the public to vote on things, is they might not be voting on the right things.
Yes.
But these look fairly sensible. Like
Elite face, yes.
Yeah. Elite face. Can we name this planet? That kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think what it does, it shows the things that people give a monkeys about.
Yes.
Now,
indeed.
One particular warning we have to put out at this stage is it does not mean that the next patch notes will only contain the things on the voting list.
No.
There will be many things that may have not had very many votes that they have also fixed.
Yeah.
But all they're telling you is about the things that you care about.
Yeah, well, people who voted for them care about, so yeah.
Yes.
And they did go through them one by one, which was a bit dull, to be honest. But if you do want to, so you can go through them all, watch the stream.
There will be 800 happy people who've heard about number 1.
I think the whole of Super Cruise News lasts about an hour. just have it on in the background and listen to it. You don't need to see the issue tracker as you're zooming through space or landing on planets or shooting people in the face or whatever you do. See for yourself.
I think you can address some of those issues in this week's sports report.
Excellent.
No
Shooting
spoilers.
people in the face.
No more spoilers allowed.
It's not. No, I wouldn't. There's no spoilers in this one. But no, I think this sports report kind of tunes into this quite well.
Good.
Absolutely.
And then
Sports report capturing the zeitgeist since 3301.
The issue tracker
capturing the zeitgeist from 3301.
Catching up. Yes.
So the meat of the Super Cruise news was the issue report, and then they showed some printed models, pictures, video, usual sort of community generated stuff. Yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
I meant to put a picture in for Stella screenshots. I bloody forgot. I'll do it this week.
Yes. I took a couple this week. We also have an update from the Major General.
The modern Major General.
The very modern Major General, Commander Noctivagus, has been doing his fundraising spectacular and gave us a little update shortly before we went on air, I believe. I'm just hunting down...
Jings Crevens, help my bulb.
Yep.
I'm just giving time you find it. I was just saying
it's here, but I can't tell you because there's no spoilers.
No, there are no spoilers allowed now, apart from on the Type 10. Well, this one, I think, was shipped by Type 10. He is delighted to announce that the second batch of the Hutton Mini Mugs will be going out very, very shortly to those people who have sponsored for special effect and hearing dogs for deaf people. And the grand total, drum roll, somebody please call it out.
Hang on.
Keep going.
Hang on, my hands are getting tired. Hurry up.
I've got it.
It'll be
£1,545.
Awesome.
By shed loads of people. You've got the clap now. Yes, everybody from Commander Puppy and the Papster, all the wonderful people who've been sort of shouting out all over the Facebook page and saying, "Oh, it's cool! I get mini mugs." And we've also seen them being delivered and people getting them as well in the last week. So yeah, thank you very much to all the generous people who gave to charity. Thank you very much to the Major General Noctivagus for doing the necessary. And I think he has also thanked his partner in crime as well on this particular one, if I remember rightly. And given a big thank you out to Commander Cully.
That's right.
For doing all of the decals on the Hutton Mini Mugs as well. You're all lovely people. Big hugs all round. Socially distanced.
I am excited for Hutton Mini Mugs.
Right, and there is an event that we didn't give to Flossy because Flossy's bit was just so full. Commander Palantir, did you fill that one in the script here, or was that?
I did, and I've just pasted the link into the chat. It's our friend Psychit. It's actually starting
that name.
Yes,
I know that. Isn't Psychit the one who looks after our retirement home?
Yes, it is.
Over at Trucker's Folly.
So we like Psychic because she looks after Trucker's Folly. Yes, over in Odin. Yes,
she's in charge of the mashed banana then for breakfast
and the bingo.
So this is a time trial that she's organised, which started in the early hours of this morning, but it doesn't finish until just before midnight on the 22nd of August. So you've still got time, and basically it's a run to pick up booze. And what's not to like? You've got to get Levy and Brandy, Aaron in Pearl Whiskey, Harmer Silver Sea Rum, and Indie Bourbon, and then deliver it to Glass Landing. Oh, you see what she did?
Yes, I see what she did.
Yes. To the glass. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. And obviously, the only thing missing from that is Centauri Mega Gin, but that would probably double the length of the time it takes to run the race. So I've put the link into the chat, as I said. It'll be in the YouTube description when we upload that. And why not give it a go? Go and see what you can do. It's like any small ship. There's a small ship race class or an unengineered hauler. class, and you can do it in Odyssey or Horizons. So, and why not do it once? Why do it lots and lots of times?
I think I would do it in the unengineered hauler, and then do it in an engineered small ship. Just do it both ways. Yeah, just do it both ways.
Yep, and
choose
you have
your own route, etc.
Yeah, you have to provide screenshots or a continuous video of your run with the same information must be provided, including the outfitting, showing you outfitting your ship, and being docked a lot, and the purchase page and the selling page. So you can't go and just pick them all up from one of the floating, shops you can find out there. You actually have to go and buy them and sell them and prove it. You can't have somebody bring them to you or share, that kind of stuff, because that's cheating. Anyway, well, thank you very much to Commander Psykit and Palantir for bringing us up to date with that one. We will, of course, next week bring the results as part of the sports report, potentially. No spoilers.
Possibly, potentially. Or part of Flossy's community events.
Is it a CCCG or is it a sporty thing? Well, we'll have a toss up between the two of you.
We'll work something out, yeah.
We'll work something out. So talking of Flossy's CG bit, are we all ready, or is there anything else we need to mention before we move on? Aardvark. Excellent.
Aardvark.
Now, I'm pretty sure I've got a button here. Let's see. Is it... no, it's not that one. It's... Oh, we've got a new button. Here we go. Is the new button.
It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. It's Flossy. And the community goes.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's Community Goals news. Last week's CG's Fight for the Federation finished just over halfway to Tier 1 with 6,245,833,930 credits earned. Fight for Coimbra's Labour's independence finished over halfway between Tiers 3 and 4 with over 43 billion credits earned. 3 tiers ahead of Lee Chotep for equality saw New Coimbra Labour, Salkana Labour, United HIP 108095 Values Party and Mutumu Future will all declare independence. Now this week's new CGs. Fight for the exiled Marlinist Assembly of Balthasine or Marlinism Reformation Party. The exiled Marlinist Assembly of Balthasine has declared war against the Marlinism Reformation Party in the hiatus sector RO-P B6-2 system. Political relations degenerated into open combat following the NMLA's recent attacks, with Acting First Minister Amrita Ross's efforts to negotiate a peaceful resolution proving unsuccessful. A new megaship, Freedom's Voice, has entered service. It is acting as the operational base for the forces of the exiled Marlinist Assembly of Balthasine. Minister Octavia Wolf announced in her Parliament, Aaron White and his collaborators are directly responsible for tens of thousands of deaths. I will not rest until they are defeated and brought to justice. Supporters of the Marlinism Reformation Party are gathering at the Steel Majesty megaship. This was formerly used by the Neo-Marlinist Order of Mudrid to flee from their home system. Minister Aaron White sent this message from his private vessel. Volkov's unlawful is a violation of our colony's charter. We call upon all true Marlinists to defend us from this illegal act of aggression. The Alliance, Empire and Federation have informed the Marlinist Consulate that they consider this conflict to be strictly internal matter. The two factions set out 7-day campaigns which will end early on Thursday the 19th of August 3307. If one faction meets its objectives earlier than planned, the initiative will end immediately. To be eligible for the reward, you must sign up as an active participant before handing in combat bonds at Freedom's Voice or the Steel Majesty in the Hyades Sector RO-P B6-2 system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Chicks.
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 Seamless.
Chicks is you.
I was talking and my microphone wasn't on.
Seamless.
What does that say? Thank you, Flossy. Baltasine, eh? What does that mean? Lovely tasting vacuum krill they got there. The only thing you could possibly follow that is the galaxy's best double act, Beetlejude and Wotherspoon.
Galnet News Digest, 12th of August, 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, 4 Goddists fail to fly.
Marlinists go head to head.
The Federation falls apart.
Aegis inquiry to start.
Zamina's secret.
Far Goddists fail to fly. The Order of the Far God has unexpectedly failed to send off their 3 new megaships on their voyages of proselytization, sacrifice, and transcendence. The Testament megaship is due to cruise merrily around the Panjabel, Lodari, Tangaroa, Elanda, Duamta and Lindol systems, attempting to convince others to give up hope and join the cult. The Perdition is full of cultists who want to die at the hand of their deity, the Far God, and it is expected to travel through the Attain, Merope, Pleiades Sector AB-W, B2-4, Evangelis, and Witchhead Sector DL-Y, D9 systems, as it seeks eternal darkness. The Sacrosanct is full of more hopeful cultists who expect to live on in the Far God's dark bosom, or be converted into Thargoid angels, whichever is more convenient. Their megaship will travel through Maya, Attain, California Sector DL-Y, D4, California Sector BA-A, E6, and California Sector JH-V, C2-6, in search of this transcendence. The expectation was that these 3 arcs, full of deeply devotional and sincere nutters, would head out into the black on their maiden voyages on the weekday that the Far God cult holds sacred, Tharg's Day. However, all 3 ships remain in place in Panjabel. The secretive Order of the Far God was not available to explain this delay to their plans.
Marlinists go head to head. Following the starport bombings 2 weeks ago, the Marlinist colonies seem to have had just about enough of the Marlinism Reformation Party and its claims to represent the NMLA. The exiled Marlinist Assembly of Baltasine is attempting to arrest Minister Aaron White and his fellow terrorist collaborators. The NMLA was angered by the Marlinists' failure to elect the Marlinism Reformation Party candidate for Prime Consul, something that may have resulted in Marlinists getting representation in the Imperial Senate. It was because of this political failure that they bombed 2 starports, both of which have now been stabilised and are under repair. The death of First Minister Jenna Fairfax has led to a loss of unity among the Marlinist colonies, and there's widespread concern that the colonies may wipe themselves out through internecine conflict, concerns that today's attack on the Marlinism Reformation Party may confirm.
The Federation is falling apart. The Federation has failed to stop New Coembar Labour from leaving the Federation, and 3 more factions, Selkana Labour, United Hip 1080-95 Values Party and Mutumo Future, have also announced their departure. Hudson faces the risk of further secessions if he does not repeal the hugely unpopular Domestic Counter-Terrorism Act.
Aegis inquiry to start. An independent inquiry will investigate the accountability of senior executives in Aegis, following the organisation's failure to effectively counter the Thargoid threat, its failure to develop any new anti-Thargoid technology, and its loss of the megaship Alexandria with thousands of tons of valuable Guardian technology. There's some suspicion that Aegis may have been negligent in allowing such large quantities of material that's known to anger the Thargoids to be concentrated in one place. Many of the senior executives have already resigned from Aegis, including Professor Albert Tesreau, formerly head of Aegis Research. However, Admiral Aidan Tanner remains in post as the chief liaison of the military wing Aegis Defence, and he's expected to be questioned in some detail. Meanwhile, there's been no further word from Aegis competitor Salvation, who also has a megaship stuffed with Guardian goodies.
Zemina's secret. Prominent slave owner and mining magnate Senator Zemina Torval has split from her cousin to set up a rival company. Torval Mostopolis Mining will operate primarily in the mining and transportation sectors as a direct and not entirely friendly competitor to her cousin Gabriella Mostopolis' mining operation. Mostopolis Mining is a direct imperial competitor to the Federation's Recon Corporation. Torval is rumoured to be looking for a permit-lock system in which to base the new operation. She's also reported to be planning a side venture. Taking a leaf out of other celebrities' playbooks, she intends to launch a lingerie range. To be called Zemina's Secret, the lingerie will be made from supple leather and steel fittings by imperial slaves in Torval's mines of misery. The fashion industry has a proud tradition of keeping costs down and profits high by using indentured labour, and Zemina Torval has just the right involuntary staff list to make her brand highly competitive in an overcrowded market.
And that's this week's Galnet News.
Galnet News. We wear the leather so that you don't have to. I beg your pardon.
Thank you, as always, Commander Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. Now, without any spoilers, it's over to the sports results with the Apology Officer.
Don't you believe a word of it? I've got more spoilers than a Type 10 ship kit. Welcome to the Hutton Sports Report. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free book of Twitch drop discount vouchers, including 15% off a 90-minute drop. This week we have the following events. The free buttock tattoo if you watch for 5 minutes, special. The free bobblehead if you watch for 10 minutes, cup. The free monocle if you watch for 15 minutes, special award. The free packet of holographic Jaffa cakes if you watch for 20 minutes, Tournament of Tournaments tournament. The free trumble if you watch for 25 minutes, open, second round. The free fart in a bottle if you watch for 30 minutes, challenge. So, comfy chairs for the win, snacks count as double, and watching something else while you have the stream open will get you disqualified. This week's classified results are Lydia of the Void, 100. Zebedian, 47. Light 027, 342. Montgomery Python, 35. Janix, 1000. Bograt, 370. Attic, 82. Goatee, 80. Goatee, 251. Millstone Balm, 145. Protomaniac, 1082. Sea Pot, 660. Stenhouse Violet, 2. Port Glasgow Athletic, 3. Glenbuck Cherry Pickers, 1. Cronberry Eglinton, 3. Haghole Caledonian Thistle, 2. Hazel Hazelonians, 2. Sparta Stein 2051, 1. Rapido Tau-Seti, 2. Decals this week for, well, given their earlier story, I think decals for our Hutton runners this week. So it's a decal for Dirty Irish Guy and a decal for Jackman. Please email itookpart@huttonorbital.com and arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week consists of extended versions of all 3 Lord of the Rings films, which you have to watch before we'll tell you where the templates and the paint are. There are 2 Hutton runs this week, but neither is close to Hardy's record, or the guy that was on last week. Oh, here we go. Commander Dirty Irish Guy logged a time of 1 hour, 24 minutes and 56 seconds, putting them in 221st place. Commander Jackman recorded a time of 1 hour, 26 minutes and 20 seconds for 295th place overall. Are you bored? Are you on console and is your ass making buttons waiting for Odyssey coming? Have you been hearing about those meetings in the bar where your friends played Cushion Jenga on Peter the Sleeper? Well, don't sit around pining. Learn to love your flight chair. Ah, the curry stain. Well, you tell everyone it's a curry stain. Your bum groove in the chair, just where you remember it. The smell of stewed tea still warm in your Hutton mug. And those streaks which show up in the canopy every time starlight shines through it. So, let's get out there and do things the old-fashioned way. How, you ask? Well, I'll tell you how. Just go to hot.forthemug.com and download or sign up for the Hutton Helper before going out there and doing whatever space shiz it is that you do. Let's face it, anything has to be better than standing around looking at a space wardrobe wondering which Twitch-strop purple flight suit you're going to wear today. Well, that's it for this week. Back to Studio 5.
Thank you, Mia. Now, I know the sports report is definitely up to the minute, and I know that because I saw you typing it just before you started to read it out. Now, we go from the ridiculous to the sublime, as Aemilia Hawke shares with us the latest episode in the adventure that is the daily round for a Galnet Rares Digest reporter.
Good evening. This is Aemilia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. We try all the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous commodities, so you don't have to. As a youngster, if you ever took that diversion with your parents at the garden centre through the little door at one corner and went into that bit with the tropical fish, or when visiting the zoo or wildlife park popped into the reptile house, then you should visit Euclid Station, the Earth-like planet that it orbits in the LTT 8517 system will bring back many fond memories. The system is the location of the galaxy's largest biological databank of living species from throughout the galaxy, hosting a major office of Vista Genomics as well as institutions representing the study of everything from sentient life forms to the fat furry feline fancy, formerly of DSO. Humanity throughout history has been excellent at one particular and rather unsavory skill: supplanting native species of anywhere they inhabit, either by driving them to extinction, deciding they make great food and breeding all of the unhelpful traits like the tendency to snack on people or be skinny or not very nutritional, to having a bad attitude and spitting a lot, until the resulting creature bears no resemblance to the original after a few tens of generations. It could be said that We're a plague. And even with hundreds of billions of worlds to choose from, we still stick a little flag in them, herd all the things that can't be eaten or have a habit of eating us into parts of the planet we no longer want, and then covering the rest with sheep. LTT 8517 has set itself up to be an antidote to all of this, though. It collects everything, from the three-eyed opossums of Birmingham world to some of the rejects of the dastardly Don's Jurassic world. What started as a planet-sized zoo soon became problematic. It's only one Earth-like world, and what's more, many of these creatures needed habitats that just weren't available naturally and had to be artificially created. Using abundant natural energy sources, and some of the less well-known effects of frameshift energies, they have been able to solve their troubles and accommodate quite literally any living creature that is brought to them. Cue the Non-Euclidian exotank, a wonder of an invention that uses frameshift energy to bend space in an entirely different way to that used on your ship. It compresses space and matter. They have tiny pocket universes of just one planet suspended in one of their exotanks, and have created all wonder of worlds and microclimates for their specimens. Herds of tiny wildebeest roam a never-ending veldt hosted on a Mobius strip. There's a donut world with a hole in the middle, perfect for the high-speed flying wombat. And of course, a selection of those tiny sealed jars with self-contained jungle climates, complete with teensy-tiny T-Rex hunting through the bonsai-sized forest. I'm visiting their largest facility, and when you enter the visitor center, every wall, every spare inch of space is covered in these exotanks. Looking through the transparent aluminum walls, I can see a humpback whale from Earth that they've jokingly named Gracie. There's a little octopus busying himself around the bottom of a seabed. In one corner, there's something that wouldn't look out of place in an Escher drawing with hyperbolic ants building strange edifices. With the lights dimmed, this menagerie is a wonder of the modern galaxy. And what's more, to help fund all of this work, they sell one of their more astonishing pieces of technology to the public, the Non-Euclidian exotank. Each tank is, as expected, bigger on the inside than it is on the outside. And you can order yours to match the life you expect to find. Ammonia worlds or water worlds, Earth-likes, and even icy moons. No larger than a reasonably sized suitcase and encased in transparent aluminum, all you have to do is keep your tank powered, and lovers of the exotic can house their own micro-menagerie. And then there's the rub. The power. Non-Euclidean tanks are mind-bendingly strange things. They maintain a frameshift field just large enough to house the contents, which draws a vast amount of power. What's more, you don't want to find out what happens if the power stops. Next thing you know, your point-sized prehistoric pterodactyl is no longer soaring around your suitcase like a butterfly. It's in your front room, the size of a small light aircraft, and trying to stuff your head in its toothy beak. One failure on the ammonia tank, and instead of a tiny, little and rather cute Thargoid scavenger bimbling around some strange creature structure, you've got a fully angry, hissing, spitting and honking beast loose in your greenhouse. But keep the power on, and there's nothing to worry about. Oh, and then there's a big warning on the side of each one. Never, ever see what happens when you stick your hand inside the tank. That teensy shoal of dogfish, stick your hand in and the great white shark will take your whole arm. That cute little octopus I mentioned earlier, well, that's a kraken. Never unleash the kraken. Not unless you like giant tentacles flailing around and destroying passing ships, stations, and most definitely dragging you to a watery doom. Oh, and being non-Euclidean, having one part of your arm normal-sized and the other immediately compressed down to a fraction of its size doesn't work very well. Human-sized platelets trying to pump around a Knack-Mac-Feagle-sized hand doesn't really work very well. It's more than likely that your hand will just pop off like a cork if you left it in too long. I've been tapping on the glass of one tank to see if anything moves inside for the last few minutes now. The label had fallen off and I've just turned it over. It says Kong. There's a rumbling from the tank, and I've only noticed right now that the lid isn't very well attached. I'm Aemilia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest, and I suspect that I'm in danger of being carried up the side of the nearest skyscraper, so you don't have to. Please send giant bananas.
Wow. Good. You've got that lid back down tight again, haven't you? I mean,
Yes.
Do not let
we managed
Kong
to get it
out.
on time.
We do not want Kong hanging to the outside of Hutton Orbital Radio studio with a giant remlock on and peering through the windows. That would be scary.
Could change the light bulb.
You know, they shouldn't call them non-Euclidian tanks. They should call them teensy verses.
Teensy versus, well, yeah, I mean, because the low power ones is just like a small patch of land encased in these things, just enough for the creature that you've got. But obviously, the higher power ones, those torus worlds, those donut worlds, and we don't mean the donut with the raspberry jam in the middle. We mean the one with a hole in the middle. With the flying wombats, those are quite cool.
They are very cool, and they're so fast.
They are. I mean, the only thing you've got to watch out for is the cube-sized, deposits they leave on your car and smash windscreens.
Yes.
These are like planetary corsets, aren't they, that stuff everything in, and for goodness sake, be careful when you undo them.
Yeah, I mean, because it's strange how it works, because obviously frameshift drives, I mean, I don't know the science behind them, but it sort of works by moving your point of reference, but this, instead of moving your point of reference, shrinks your point of reference. Or something.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it's... I mean, you can only use small ones. I mean, you can't make giant ones of these and put a whole sort of pocket universe in them. The power required would be astronomical.
Astronomical, yeah.
Yes. But, I mean, it's cool. You go into this room, and you've been to some of those... When you walk into those sort of aquariums they have in the garden centre, and it's all dark, isn't it? With just sort of some glowing lights and cutesy little fish floating around.
And everything is so pretty.
It is, yeah. And the coral, and nothing's about to get tentacles out and grab you and flail you around and kill you. But
Unless
these will.
you're very lucky.
Well, yeah. But these will.
Yes, these definitely will.
I mean, the fighting fish they have there, I mean, they'll take whole ships out. These are anaconda-sized things. Yeah.
Yes.
But, I mean, they're very pretty, and they're not that useful. I suppose if you've got a lot of hamsters, you could use one to keep whole colonies of hamsters.
Hamsters would be virtually microscopic.
Yeah, I mean, if you had one of those really teensy London flats, and New London is even teensier flats because there's just no room left at all, and you wanted to keep a hippo, then this would be perfect.
Perfect for it, yeah.
Yeah, just squeeze the hippo up really small.
Yeah.
I think they're about 8,000 credits if you actually fly to that system, and then if you buy them out by Hutton, it's a lot more than that.
Yes, the LTT 8517 system. I think the further you get, the more it's worth.
Yep. Well, look, thank you very much to go see that for us. I mean, and I'm glad Kong didn't escape. I mean, there's one marked Godzilla in the corner as well, and that just we don't really want to.
We don't touch that one. We don't look at that one.
No, it shakes on the shelf occasionally in anger, and lightning comes out.
Get a little blue glow every now and then.
Yes, there's a stomping noise and screaming. I don't think it's ethical to put people in these. I mean, it shouldn't really be ethical to put creatures. I suppose it's nice. It's nice environments for them, but
it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're in an age where ethics.
Somewhere near Kent,
what's ethics, really?
Yeah. I suppose as well, the creatures don't know anything. They're living in what to them is a full-size world.
Yeah,
in their ideal climates, no
ideal
less.
Climate, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, it was shown off. These things, obviously, somebody must have invented time travel, because they were definitely shown off during one of the Harry Potters as well, except that he put it in a suitcase, an actual suitcase, and then jumped in. But yeah, I think jumping in, you have to get it all at once, because if you try and jump in, then bits of you are small and bits of you are big at the same time, and that just doesn't end well.
Oh,
it doesn't.
It's like just after Christmas.
Yes. Be cut in half by your belt unless you loosen it quickly.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, if you wear a belt and tie at the same time, you turn into sausages.
And of course, there are rumours that they've been sold to various equipment manufacturers as well. I mean, the shipboard, there are rumours that the material storage in your ship, all those little bits and bobs, not the cargo, but the little bits and bobs you scavenge on planets, they're actually using this same method for storing those, because you can store hundreds, thousands of these things. And backpacks.
Thing is the power. If it's all well and good to use one of these to power, to shrink everything down so that it'll be lighter, but then you've got to house the power plant somewhere, and this thing takes an inordinate amount of power.
Oh yeah, and this is why people don't use it for day-to-day storage.
So it's like shrinking down the contents of your backpack so you can put this little jar in your backpack, but then strapping a bloody great big power power generator on your back.
It's a bit like those people with electric cars that have to tow petrol generators behind them and a fuel tank just to keep them topped up every now and again.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway...
Nobody doesn't like electric cars.
Yeah, or pedal powered, or like the Flintstones. Maybe it's a lot easier. Just stick your feet out the bottom. And I had a Ford Escort like that once. Needed a bit of welding, and I think you probably could do that out of the floor. Well, look, thank you very much, Aemilia. It's always an absolute pleasure to hear about your adventures in the world of rare commodities. We're curious as to where you're off to next week, but no spoilers.
No spoilers. No, never any spoilers. Not until next week. Well. And then there's no spoilers up until you actually hear it. So yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers, apart from on the Type 10. I think, which is called the Enormous Huff, isn't it, Apology Officer?
Yeah, mine is called the Massive Huff, yes.
Massive Huff, that's the one.
And that was one of the ones that went to Beagle Point. Again, the Massive
Is
Huff.
it in a huff because it got too many spoilers? That's one of the important questions of the Galaxy.
Well, I did put a ship kit on it before I took it out there. I made the point. It's the only reason I would ever buy the Type 10 ship kit.
So you've got spoilers on your spoilers now?
Yeah. It's got at least 3. Because it's just that type of ship.
That's a lot of spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, look, thank you very much to everybody. Thank you very much to Flossy for all the community news this week. Remember, if you've got any community news that you want to share, anything your groups have been up to or any expeditions, please do tell Flossy by emailing us over on itookpart@huttonorbital.com. And we promise we'll attempt to put a silly voice onto anything that you publish in inverted commas. Speech marks.
It's better than mine, isn't it?
Dum, dum, dum. But Flossy will give it the attention that it so richly deserves.
Yes,
thank you very much.
We don't do silly voices on this show.
No silly voices. Thank you very much to Commander Chicks for your update on Hutton Space. Now, are we getting any exploration guides back from you, Commander Chicks, anytime soon?
I'm toying with the idea of doing something on exobiology.
Ooh.
But I haven't...
are we talking the spiky cactuses and space loafers, or are we talking sort of eight-sided, going to shoot you in the face with green lasers kind?
I haven't found those. No, that's living stuff. They're creatures, not plants.
So that's xenobiology as opposed to exobiology.
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes. So I don't know whether that would be of much interest.
It would be of massive interest to those of us that haven't done very much apart from land on the odd cactus.
Well, again, a few
lot of interest
tips,
to me.
Tips and tricks of weed bothering.
Oh yeah, I mean the proper Blue Peter Garden special. Yes.
Yeah. It won't be as serious because I don't think there's that much to say, to be fair. But
here's one that's yellow, and here's one that's red. Talking of that, I've got a cactus downstairs that's flowered for the first time in 7 years, and it looks very suggestive at the moment. It's sort of a bit droopy.
Can you remember what you did right to make? So you can. It's not a coincidence. You can.
Yeah, I forgot to water it for 12 months.
Oh well, that will do it.
Then it is
a cactus.
It is a cactus. Yeah. But no, it's been on the same. It's been on the same windowsill, I think, since we moved into the house, and all of a sudden it's decided, I'm going to flower now. Yeah, it is. It's very. I mean, it's small and round and not prickly and very boring looking cactus. So all of a sudden, it's decided it's a beautiful flower.
Very good.
Bit of the ugly duckling syndrome going on. Well, yeah, we'd love to hear another one of you guys. We do love them. But if you have the time and the inclination, and certainly
it's time.
so, yeah,
it's time until I leave West Britain. I've loads of things to do. And
when are you exiting West Britain?
Not entirely sure yet. Something else.
Go on, tell
today.
us when your sentence is up. Go on.
I really don't know. Yeah, and who wants to be inside making videos when it's so nice and sunny?
You'd better be out by the 2nd and 3rd of September, because I'm visiting the other place.
I thought we were going to say they close the border then.
Yeah. Yes.
They've taken the roads in.
It could be. I just don't know yet.
And Apology Officer, obviously you'll be back next week with some more sports reports.
That's the plan.
Well, looking forward to it, and maybe we might get some new leaders on the table. These Hutton run times, though, by the way, I do have to mention that both of those ones this week were actually slower than the Apex Taxi.
Oh yeah, both of them were slower than a lot of things, but you know, when somebody in the forum
the speed of light.
Oh, you should spend your time doing mining runs, or you should spend your time doing this. You're wasting your time. You're stupid. They don't understand. Yes, that's the point of it. And now these guys have got a Hutton decal.
So
no. Yeah, for all you might have 20, 100, bajillion, kajillion, and 111 to 12 credits, you don't have a Hutton decal.
Yeah. And obviously,
these guys do.
For the avoidance of doubt, we're not giving Hutton decals to everybody who does the Hutton run, but this one was done in the face of adversity.
In the face of adversity, yes. In the face of logic and in the face of common sense, we decided to give both Hutton runners this week a decal. Just a one-off,
because we feel like it, yeah.
Because we can.
Yeah. And then Commander Palantir, you'll be back next week as well?
Oh, yes, naturally.
Are you spinning the decks?
I've had my day off for the year. Yes, I am. I'm button pushing and all sorts of stuff, yes. Yeah, I'm poised, ready. In fact, I'll probably sit here all week ready.
Yeah, and of course we'll be scouring the Gal Twit and the all the news for the latest updates. You never know, you might get an update 7. Unlikely in the next week, but you never know. You might do. To talk about. So thank you very much to our listener, and thank you very much to the entire radio crew. The time is rapidly approaching. Oh, there we go. Tick. It's time then for the last word of the evening from Aemilia.
For the mug!
For the mug!
I missed it again.
Ladies and
Get
gentlemen,
my headphones
that's
off my
the
ears.
end of the show. Everybody's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?
Journey too long, cargo too small. Profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anyway. Loading up the teen out to the brim with the rest for the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, everybody sing the trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Skibble lights the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin out the frame, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody out. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. You know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. So give me a large path that I can land on, and I'll give you cargo and sing you my song. 0.22 light years to go, cruising to Hutton. No journey too long, no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We're taking anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud, like you don't even care. For the more, for the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton trucker song. For the more, for the more, for the more. Yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the more, for the more, for the more. Everybody sing the Hutton trucker song.